Hello children, I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here every day we will sing, dance, listen to stories and have lots of fun together. Are you ready to have fun? Okay, then let's start our day.
Paper boat, sail away. Whoosh, a little here, whoosh, a little there. Pitter patter, here it comes. Everywhere we go, let's chop, chop, chop. Little red umbrella, don't fly away. Whoosh, no, no. Whoosh, no, no. Pitter patter, here it comes. Everywhere we go, let's chop, chop, chop. Pretty little rainbow, will you dance with me? Whoosh, a spin. Whoosh, a twirl. Pitter patter, here it comes. Everywhere we go, let's chop, chop, chop.
Children, I would now like to ask you a few questions. Let us share our thoughts and ideas. Children, today I would like to talk with you about a country which is located in the Northwest Pacific Ocean. It is situated on an island. Can you guess the name of the country? The name of the country is Japan. Children, do you know which language do people speak in Japan? People in Japan speak in Japanese. Do you know the capital of this country, Japan? The capital of Japan is Tokyo. Do you know which is the national sport of this country, Japan? The national sport of this country is sumo wrestling. Children, I hope you liked learning these few quick facts about Japan. Now, let's read further about Japan. Children, now I would like to share with you a few new words. Let's try to understand their meaning and frame some sentences using these words. We will also come across these words in the lesson we'll be reading today. The first word is imaginary. 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 Imaginary means created by the mind. I like to drive my imaginary car. My friend has an imaginary robot. Imaginary means it doesn't exist in reality. It is only a creation of the mind. Next word, rumbling, rumbling, rumbling. Rumbling is a deep and heavy sound. My tummy was rumbling with hunger. The car was rumbling before it started. Next word, bounded, bounded, bounded means to take a leap or a jump. The deer bounded away when it saw the tiger. The elephant bounded when it saw the rat. Next word, somersaults, somersaults, somersaults. Somersault is a movement, is an action done by a person. Children were practicing somersaults on the beach sand. The gymnast was performing a somersault. Command, command, command means to give an order. The army general gave a command to his men. We followed the teacher's command. Children, I hope you all liked this activity where we learnt new words. Children, we will be reading a very interesting lesson today. The title of the lesson is The Magic Kettle. If you have a textbook, please open page number 85 and point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please listen to me carefully and watch your TV screens. We will also come across the new words we just learned earlier. The Magic Kettle. A tanuki is a small, furry, dog-like animal found in Japan. There are many imaginary stories about this playful little animal. It is believed in the stories that a tanuki can take the shape of anything or any animal. Here is a story about a tanuki and a peddler called Jimmu. Children, this story is about a tanuki. A tanuki is a small, furry, dog-like animal. It is an imaginary being. It is playful and can turn into anything or any other animal. A tanuki is found in many stories of Japan. Children, would you like to know more about this tanuki? Then come, let's read further. Once in the country of Japan, there lived an old man. He lived in a beautiful house high up in the mountains. He was proud of his house with its white straw mats and pretty papered walls. In warm weather, he slid back the walls to let the smell of the trees and the flowers come in. One day, he was standing looking at the mountain opposite when he heard a kind of rumbling noise in the room behind him. He turned around and saw a rusty old iron kettle in a corner. How the kettle got there, the old man did not know, but he picked it up and looked it over carefully. "That's a piece of luck," he said, smiling to himself. "My old kettle was getting worn out, and this looks like a good kettle." So, children, who is this story about? In this story, there is an old man who has a beautiful house at the top of a mountain. During the warm weather, he slides back the walls of his house to let the smell of the trees and the flowers inside. One day, this old man was looking at the beautiful mountain opposite his house. Suddenly, he heard a sound behind him. He heard the rumbling sound. When he turned behind in the room, he saw a kettle kept in one corner. He thought to himself, "How lucky of me to have found this kettle. My old kettle was getting worn out. It's good I have a new kettle now." Let's see what happens further. He filled the new kettle with water and put it on the fire. As soon as the water in the kettle began to get warm, a strange thing happened. The man thought he must be dreaming. The handle of the kettle slowly changed its shape and became a head. The spout grew into a tail. Out of the body of the kettle sprang four paws. In a few minutes, the man was watching not a kettle but a tanuki. The old man filled water in the kettle and kept it on the fire. As the water started boiling, suddenly a strange thing happened. The handle of the kettle changed its shape into the face of an animal. The spout of the kettle changed its shape into a tail. And out of the body of the kettle sprang four paws. In a moment, the old man was watching not a kettle but a tanuki, the furry little animal that we were talking about. The tanuki jumped off the fire and bounded about the room like a kitten. It ran up the pretty papered walls and even across the ceiling. The old man could not catch it. He called his neighbor for help. Somehow they caught the tanuki and shut it up in a wooden chest. Running after the tanuki had made both of them very tired. They sat down on the mat to rest. The tanuki came to life and began running around the whole house. It ran around all the walls and also the ceiling of the house. The old man was very scared and could not catch the tanuki. So he called his neighbor. The old man and his neighbor were able to finally catch the tanuki and they put it inside a wooden chest. Both of them were very tired now and sat down on a mat. "What shall I do with this naughty animal? I don't want to keep it in the house," said the old man. "Why don't you sell it off to Jimmu, the peddler?" the neighbor suggested. "That's a good idea," said the old man. So they sent for Jimmu. When he came, the old man went to the chest and lifted the lid very carefully. But there was no tanuki inside, only the old rusty kettle the old man had found. He did not now want to keep the kettle. He gave it away to Jimmu without taking any money for it. The old man was very tired now. He told his neighbor, I don't want to keep this animal with me anymore. His neighbor suggested, why don't you give it to Jimmu the peddler? The old man said, that's a good idea. They called for Jimmu the peddler. When Jimmu the peddler came, the old man went back to the wooden chest where he had caged the Tanuki. Slowly he opened the lid of the wooden chest, and there, what did he see? He saw the old rusty kettle again. But he didn't want to keep the kettle anymore. So he gave the kettle to Jimmu the peddler and did not take any money for it. Jimmu put the kettle in his cloth bag and started off home. He felt that his bag was getting heavier and heavier on the way, but he did not put it down. On reaching home, Jimmu put the bag away carefully in a corner. At night, when Jimmu was fast asleep, he heard a sudden noise and woke up. He could not see anything, but he thought he heard some noises in the corner. When he lit the lamp, he saw that the kettle had turned into a Tanuki once again. It was running around chasing its own tail. It ran here and there and jumped and turned somersaults. Jimmu sat watching the Tanuki for a long time. Then he fell asleep. When he got up in the morning, he saw that the Tanuki had not run away. The old kettle was still there lying in a corner. He picked it up lovingly. The peddler, Jimmu, put the old kettle in his cloth bag and began walking home. While walking home, he felt that his bag was getting heavier and heavier, but he didn't bother much. He went home and kept the bag carefully in one corner. At night, when Jimmu went to sleep, he suddenly heard a sound. He got up and he saw that the kettle had once again turned into a Tanuki, and the Tanuki was trying to chase its own tail. Jimmu, after a while, went back to sleep. When he got up the next morning, he saw the Tanuki had once again turned into an old rusty kettle. Do you wish to stay with me, Tanuki? He asked. To his surprise, the Tanuki answered in a human voice, I'll stay with you and make you very rich. You can show me around. People will give a lot of money to see a kettle turn into a Tanuki and dance. So that's what they did. Jimmu set up a booth with a platform. He put the kettle on the platform. At his command, the kettle turned into a Tanuki. At Jimmu's commands, the little furry animal would then walk, run, jump, leap, turn somersaults or dance. Jimmu picked up the old kettle lovingly and asked, Would you like to stay with me, Tanuki? The Tanuki answered in a human voice, I will stay with you. I will make you very rich. You can set up a platform and I can put up a show. And Jimmu did just that. He put up a booth with a platform and put the kettle on it. On Jimmu's command, the kettle would turn into a Tanuki and would run and jump and leap. People loved to see the kettle change into a playful little animal that could do all this. They paid Jimmu well to see the show. Big crowds of people came to watch the show. And the dear little Tanuki never disappointed them. Merrily it danced many dances. The shadow dance, the fan dance, the umbrella dance. It never tired of dancing. So, the Tanuki never got tired of dancing. It performed the fan dance, the umbrella dance, and enjoyed itself. Lots and lots of people came to see how the kettle turned into a playful little animal. Soon, Jimmu had collected lots and lots of money. He had become a very rich man. He said to the Tanuki, "Dear Tanuki, you have made me very rich. We can both live in comfort now. We can stop the shows if you like." So they decided to stop the shows. But Jimmu did not forget the old man who had given him the magic kettle. He gave some of the money to the old man. All of them lived long and happy lives. Jimmu and the old man are no more, but you may still come across the magic kettle lying in a corner somewhere in Japan. Jimmu had collected lots of money. So one day he asked the Tanuki, "Tanuki, we have collected a lot of money. If you want, we can stop the shows now." So Jimmu and the Tanuki lived happily. They both stopped performing the shows. Jimmu never forgot the old man who had given him the kettle. He also gave some money to the old man. So the old man, Jimmu, and the Tanuki all lived for a very long time and lived happily. Later, Jimmu and the old man passed away, but you may still find the Tanuki somewhere in Japan, lying in a corner like an old kettle. Children, let's do an activity now. In this activity, I would like to share with you a few sentences. You have to write down if these sentences are true or false. These sentences are all based on the story we just read. So would you like to give this a try? Come then, let's begin. Children, come, let's have a look at which sentences are true and which are false. First, Tanuki was running around chasing his own tail. This is true. Second, the rusty kettle was lying in the middle of the house. This is false. It was lying in one corner of the house. Third, Tanuki was dancing on Jimmu's commands. True. Fourth, Jimmu did not give any money to the old man. This is false. Jimmu did give some of the money that he and the Tanuki had made from its shows to the old man. Fifth, Tanuki ran here and there and jumped and did somersaults. This is true. Children, I hope you were able to mark the sentences true and false correctly. Children, I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I would now request you to please make some time and draw an imaginary character of your choice. And please write down the magical powers that this imaginary character has. Children, till we meet next time, please take care. Bye bye and stay safe.